Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. I'm Peter Billman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation without Googling or fact-checking each other. Those things often kill the conversation.
And the way our conversation continued in a very unique way this week, we posted about the pickle episode on Instagram.
Okay, yeah.
And Mount Olive Pickle Company responded to our post.
Did they really?
With an emoji. I think it was a clapping emoji. But the company responded.
Somebody clapped.
Yeah.
I wonder what it was about our podcast that made them clap.
I tagged them. I tagged the company in the post. And so somebody from the company looked at the post and gave us at least a good emoji. At least it wasn't a thumbs down or.
True.
Yeah.
At least I was trying to think of what product that we were doing, but it was the
Mount Olive pickle.
It was the pickle juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
you were taking shots of it.
I think I am a fan of it now.
Do you have some in the house?
I don't have any currently, but I think if
because I'm a little thirsty, I'm just drinking water right now.
I think on runs I'm going to start to use it.
I think that was a recovery thing.
Yeah, I think they have a new customer out of me.
All right.
I was hoping they would respond maybe with a year's worth of pickles.
Well, how about a year's worth of pickle juice?
Or pickle juice, or it would be a sponsor.
Now I told you they come in the shots, but they also come in and you can get a quart of it.
Yeah. No,
it's probably
the shots are good enough for me.
Well, it's probably more economical to get the quart.
All right, which leads us to, I think it may be we talked about the brine and the briny solution that pickles are in, and the salt solution that pickles are in, which I can't remember if that's what led to what has to be possibly our first argument.
Our most contentious subject.
Our most contentious subject, either on or off the air.
At least not a topic you easily give in to the Beelman effect.
No. I did not give in to the Beelman effect. Nor did you give in to me.
I think it was the fact that one of the snacks that we had, it might have been the pickle flavored balls, or maybe the potato chips had sea salt on them. And we used the terms.
That's where it came from.
Was that what it was from?
I think you're correct.
Is that was from?
And I said.
You said all salt comes from the sea.
All salt comes from the sea.
And I said.
That don't sound right.
I said, that's right. That's right.
And then we got into a pretty contentious.
Well, we talked about it we had to cut it off because we could have spent the rest of the particular episode on that topic. But we decided, no, let's come back and talk a little bit more.
Right. So what we're talking about, just if anybody wants to play this game at home, we're talking about sodium chloride, NaCl, sodium chloride, whatever form that comes in, whether it's kosher salt like I've got here, iodized salt, but we're talking about sodium chloride, the seasoning, the preservative, the thing that has been traded through centuries.
Right.
And I contend it all comes from the sea.
The sea.
S-E-A, an ocean, a salty. Ocean. Well, yeah. Anything.
Well, I think we need. I think that's the first thing we need.
Okay, so
we need to discuss is what your definition of the sea.
Of the sea is. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. And then we need to get into why you think that all salt does not come from the sea.
Correct.
Now, neither one of us have Googled this in any way, shape, or form. Would that be a true statement?
It is.
Okay, I have not Googled it.
I have not. The only thing I Googled was ask a geologist. And so I found that App State has a geologist that you can email.
And that's within the rules.
That's right. I want to talk to other people.
Yeah.
And so I emailed this geologist, and I'm still waiting to hear back.
And I asked the biochemist.
Right. And I asked a physical chemist.
Yes. So we each have been gathering
We've been gathering some data, right?
But through conversations.
And in fairness, I really wanted to talk to your biochemist. That's why I wanted to talk to her first.
She tends to be our default reference.
You got to her.
Yeah. Well, because I know I'm right about this.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go.
All salt. I will confess.
Yeah.
The reason I say this, that all salt comes from the sea. Yeah. This is not my own theory.
Okay.
I was listening to the Food Network. I was watching the Food Network. And I used to like to watch Alton Brown.
Yeah.
And so Alton Brown had like the food science show for a while, and I forget what it was called. But he said in one of his shows, all salt comes from the sea.
Okay.
So I took that to be fact.
All right. It sounds like the Alton Brown effect.
Yeah. So he just is, just like if you in New York, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Right.
People take that as fact.
Sure. Okay.
It's not a fact. It was in one song. I'm borrowing that whole bit from a comedian.
I didn't get that one, man.
right. So he said all salt comes from the sea, and the more I thought about it, I think he's correct.
Okay.
I don't think he was just throwing an arbitrary statement out there. So
Okay.
sea, for me, a sea would be any. Would be an ocean would be included. I know we differentiate between an ocean and the sea, which is probably a whole nother episode.
Right.
Because there's like the Aegean Sea.
Right.
But that's connected to the Atlantic.
Right. But
Ocean.
the Black Sea. Take the Black Sea.
Right.
It's connected to the Mediterranean, but very thin.
Barely. Is the Black Sea salty?
Mm-hmm.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's salt water. Okay. So sea or ocean, any body of salt water is what I'm referring to.
All right.
Whether in existence or not in existence anymore.
Sure.
So prehistoric seas.
We'll call them ancient seas.
Ancient seas, dried up seas.
Right.
Underground seas or oceans.
Whoa, underground?
Yeah. So like an underground lake.
Okay.
Yeah, but any type of underground briny.
All right.
Not just briny, but salty.
Well, it's got to be briny.
It's got to be briny, but it's got to be more than just briny. I think it's got to be salty. Is there a difference between salty and briny? Brackish. There's a difference between brackish and briny.
That's
okay, so briny or salt, they're the same.
Right.
That's what I'm referring to.
Okay.
And do you want me to say why I think this happens, or do you want to go with your contention first?
Well, I guess my first contention is the whole idea of a sea.
Yeah.
I would, if you are distinguishing between a sea and an ocean, for instance, then my argument would be that there are plenty of salt seas that aren't attached to an ocean.
Okay, so either or. I'm saying all salt comes either from the ocean or a sea.
Okay, all right. Okay, so like the Dead Sea.
Like the Dead Sea.
Right, there's no connection to the ocean.
There's no, but there are also inland lakes that are very salty, too.
I don't know about these.
So we don't need to, in the Salt Lake City, in the lake there, very salty?
Okay, there's one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So, and that's not connected to the ocean.
That's right. Exactly.
Right. All right. So we've established the ground rules for that.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I think that all salt deposits, because I think you're going to talk about underground salt deposits.
It's one of the ones in
your arguments.
It's one of the ones I'm going to talk about.
Yeah. In order to get salt, now we're not talking about all salts because there are lots of salts.
NaCl.
Right. There's
NaCl.
Right. NaCl.
Right.
I think in order to get that, you have to dissolve sodium and you have to dissolve chloride in order for the reaction to occur to make sodium chloride.
Okay.
The only way that is naturally going to occur is with water. There might be a few other solvents that would be naturally occurring that could happen.
Now, is this your biochemists?
This is. I don't want to directly quote anything because I don't want to misquote anybody, but this is taking information from that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the chlorine and the sodium have to be in a solution in order to combine.
In order to combine.
Okay.
And then once it's combined, you can produce the sodium chloride salt.
Sure.
Then, like if the sea dries up, that's where you get your underground deposits, like these big underground deposits of sodium chloride.
Right.
I don't think you can combine the two elements needed to produce sodium chloride. Like I don't think it will be naturally occurring.
What if they're naturally occurring next to each other, in proximity to each other?
In powder form?
Yeah.
Or solid form?
Yeah.
Well, what would
and then
be that?
And then there's water in the vicinity.
Well, now you've got a sea.
No, not at all.
Essentially, right?
No, I don't. If I have just like an area here where there's a high concentration of sodium and chloride in the rock, for instance, and fresh water seeps down.
All right. Now you've got salt water.
Now I have salt water.
How much
but
do we have?
That's not from the sea.
But this is essentially the same thing,
That
right?
is not from the sea.
But it's producing a sea.
You said the sea.
Yes.
You said a sea is a body of water.
Well, or it's a
that
body
salt,
of water that's produced.
This particular salt did not come from a body of water. It came from two elements dissolved in, held in rocks.
Yes.
Then combined with fresh water.
Okay.
Not a sea.
Right.
And now that has crystallized in your rock. Then you can mine it out.
You don't think you'd be able to create the volume. So you've got water trickling down through. Let's say it trickles down through sodium, the sodium deposit into I guess it would have to be a chlorine deposit.
Yeah, sure.
And now you've created salt.
Yeah.
NaCl.
Basically in this
deposits.
And it's like this big vast area of salt and chlorine deposits.
Right.
Fresh water has trickled down.
Yes.
Now you have the combination, and it's in the rock.
Yeah. So you haven't created a sea.
And I've created rock salt.
You haven't created a sea, but you've created the conditions with sodium chloride. Yes, sodium chloride would happen that way, but not in the volume that we're talking about.
I mean, if you think about the vast caverns
of sodium,
of rock salt that have occurred.
There are vast caverns of rock salt.
So
what do you mean by rock salt?
So in Salzburg, for instance.
Yes.
So the salt is actually contained in the rock.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
It's not from a marine source. It's contained in the rock.
Okay.
And the way they get it out is they flood the caverns with water. They dissolve the salt that's in the rock. Mm-hmm. They pump the water out, and they dry it out up high. Now you get your salt.
But how do you know that wasn't laid down by a sea?
How do you know it was?
I don't
either.
So,
but that's my contention, is that not all salt necessarily comes from a body of salt water. It could have been formed underground by, like you said, the two elements existing together, and then water coming down, dissolving, combining. Now you have your salt. That is one contention I have. My other contention is that, like you said, the sodium and the chloride are contained in rocks all around. Mm. And then water is hitting it and pulling it down and then concentrating it in areas. Right. And those areas aren't necessarily seas either. For instance, the Dead Sea. I mean, but it's not. It is not connected.
As you just said, the Dead Sea.
It's right, but it's not connected to the ocean.
Right, but it's the
Great Salt Lake. It's the lake.
That's the lake.
It's not connected to the ocean.
No.
Now we could argue, and this could have happened. This could happen that in that basin there was an ancient sea in that direction, and there could have been salt deposits that left that one behind and became salt deposits from an ancient sea. But where I'm not convinced that happened is around the Great Lakes.
Okay.
So talking to a guy at work. Brought this up with a lot of guys at work. Asked them, where have you seen salt deposits? Okay. And so guys, I'm from Michigan. There's these huge salt deposits around the Great Lakes.
So they're connected to an ocean.
But they're all upstream. They're all upstream of the ocean.
An ancient ocean.
Well, that's the thing, is I don't know if the ancient ocean went up that high. Huh. Because if it did, when the salt, I would have thought that perhaps that the lakes would have stayed salty. But I don't know that.
To support your argument, salt doesn't evaporate.
Right.
So salt stays. Mm-hmm. I mean, if salt's there, it's going to stay. Like I wouldn't think a body of salt water would become fresh.
Right.
Freshwater body might become salty.
Right. Freshwater
body could become salty.
Right. It could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if it was always an ancient sea, then I would expect to see salt deposits everywhere there is an ancient sea.
Yes.
Right.
Potentially.
If we're saying that's the way it's formed,
right.
I don't know of any salt deposits on the eastern seaboard, east of the Appalachians. And if there were going to be an ancient sea, I would expect to be ancient sea, lapping up against the Appalachians, that we'd be underwater right now, or at least we'd have the beachfront. Right. And then I know like around Maryland, the Chesapeake Bay was formed by glaciers.
Yes.
Right. That was scraped down through time. And so it seems like there would be salt deposits all around there.
Right.
If all salt came from the sea.
Right. Now I understand what you're saying, but just because there's not salt deposits there doesn't mean that all salt that come from the sea. I'm not saying that all salt that has formed anywhere on Earth comes from a sea. I'm saying that all salt that we use comes from the sea. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
I think I am.
Yeah. So all salt
that we put in our food
comes from the sea.
No, that's definitely not true.
And so you're saying from
Salzburg.
No, I'm saying the sea or an ancient sea, from a deposit of the ocean is what I'm saying. So in Salzburg, do they use that salt for seasoning?
It's been around for hundreds of years.
So this is salt that's trapped in the rock.
Yeah.
And they're basically fracking the salt out.
They're basically getting it all. Yeah, that's right.
Right. I think that would lend to your argument that it was the two elements combined in the rock.
It could happen.
It could happen.
I couldn't tell you if it did.
Right. I will concede that it could happen.
But for that to be sea salt, the ancient sea would have to be over Europe. Yes. Like where Austria is.
Right. Well, then that leads me to the big play, the big boom, right?
I don't know if there's water there.
Well,
what's your big? What's that?
This is the big mic drop, right?
Okay, what is it?
It's the flood story.
Okay.
So at one point, everything was sea. In history, at one point, the earth was flooded.
Right.
In the flood story, the biblical flood story.
Yeah.
So at one point, everything's underwater.
Right.
So if you have big sodium and chlorine deposits.
And how long was it?
40 days and 40 nights. So if you hold to a strict, if you've listened to the podcast, Peter and I are believers, so we believe this the story of the flood. So 40 days and 40 nights. So if you interpret it strictly, it's 40 days and 40 nights.
That's right.
Correct?
Yeah. Right.
Some people think 40 days and 40 nights refers to a long period of time.
Okay.
That it's I guess it's not a metaphor, but it's an
analogy.
Analogy. I don't know.
All right.
That is representative
of
a long period of time. So it depends on whether you hold to the strict construction of the scripture and say it was 40 days and 40 nights. Would that be time for all those reactions to occur and lay down these salt deposits?
And then my other question is it was fresh water that flooded the earth. Yes. It was a heck of a lot of fresh water.
That's true. But it
was really not that salty. But it could have laid down these deposits in places. Yeah,
it can lay down deposits.
I thought you were going to use the creation story. I thought you were going to throw down the creation card.
Oh no, the flood story.
Okay,
that which would lend to your Salzburg thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
right.
There's these big deposits of sodium and chlorine, and suddenly they're underwater to the point that you don't even see mountain peaks.
Right. And then salt water could have infiltrated.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, not salt water, but I'm just saying that amount of water would seep down through those deposits and form the crystals that you're
Sure. Or to support your argument is that, okay, if this sphere of water was actually salty enough, it would filter down into the rocks and sit there, and then now everything is. But to that, I would expect to see more salt deposits than.
But at that point, all salt would have come from the sea because it would be a big sea.
That would be the biggest sea at all.
Right. It would be a freshwater sea, really.
Well, that's the thing. Is
a freshwater ocean.
That's right.
That has now created big salt deposits.
Right.
And as those waters recede, they would carry salt back into certain areas.
Right.
And then.
So it would be interesting to know then is to support my argument. Do there exist today large deposits of sodium and chloride?
Separate.
Or at least...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Or I should say not separate, but in close proximity, that water trickling down would dissolve each one and we'd get the combination.
Because isn't sodium's very reactive?
Yeah, I mean, so
if I remember my chemistry right, sodium's extremely reactive.
If you take pure sodium... and you put it in water, it blows up.
Right.
It blows up.
I can't remember all the chemistry around it, but yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, I don't know that we've solved it.
I don't think we were going to.
So you thought the trump card was creation?
Creation, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's the flood.
Okay.
Because that gives me the water. That gives me all the water I need.
Yeah.
To support my argument.
No, well, the problem is it only gives you the fresh water.
It gives me the fresh water I need.
Which supports my argument.
But Salzburg, they use that salt.
Yeah, I've got it in my house.
Really?
Yeah, you can buy. Yeah.
Does salts mean salt?
What's that?
Does salts SALT? Is it Salzburg?
Oh yeah, it's SALTZ.
Is that salt?
That's how you pronounce it.
I know, but does that?
Oh, is that German?
Salt?
Is that German for salt? I don't. I would think so.
It would seem to it would make sense.
It makes sense if it was, but maybe not. I feel like the German word for salt is something.
Maybe I'll tag Alton Brown in this thing and see if he
pipes in.
Yeah, my daughter saw him in Raleigh the other day.
And what happened?
Nothing. She didn't bother him. He was at a restaurant.
Oh, okay, all right.
If it had been after this, we'd gotten our discussion about this, I could have flagged him down and said, "Hey, I believe this because of you.
All right,
You're the one that said this."
So this is the other train of thought I had on this that really got me thinking was Himalayan salt.
Okay.
Okay.
Way up
there.
It's a deep sea.
It's a deep sea. So that would, now I think what can happen is you get these salt deposits, and as the land is shifting, it shifts that thing. It can shift it up into the mountain, right? It can shift things up.
Yep.
But I don't know. It seems like that the sea would have to be awfully deep.
Well, I accept your argument. I can see that
right.
There is a possibility.
It's a possibility
that well, not just possibility. It seems that there are deposits that were created probably by seeping water.
That's what we have to figure out.
I will concede
where has to come from.
But I would say that the vast majority of salt that's on the table somewhere comes from a sea.
Well, interesting. I wonder. I bet you can. I bet you can look at the chemical makeup, because like Himalayan salt, right?
Right.
It has a color to it because there's certain minerals.
Yeah, it's a pink color, I think.
Right, it's dissolved in it.
Yeah.
I would think that salt comes from a sea, literally the ocean, has a certain chemical makeup to it. In order trace
gives it the color.
Trace minerals, or gives it even the flavor. And I bet you Salzburg salt has different trace minerals.
Well, they do say that there's have different. So, like, it would be interesting because they should tell you where they get the salt from on these containers.
There's a lot of things we eat. They should be telling us where it comes from.
Because this contains salt.
Yeah.
But it also contains dextrose, potassium iodide, which we added to prevent goiter.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Iodide. Okay.
Yeah, because people weren't getting enough of that in their diet, so they added it to salt.
What's goiter?
It's a disease of the thyroid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's why you don't see goiter like you used to. Is because we added.
Did we used to see it a lot?
Mm-hmm. We did. That's why you have iodized salt. Much like fluorinated water,
right?
Yeah, we added iodine to the salt to prevent goiter.
Really?
Because your body needs a certain amount of iodine, and we didn't and we didn't get it through our diet.
Where do you normally get it?
Diet.
Eating what?
I think it's contained
if you tell me sea salt.
Yeah, from sea salt, Peter. I think it's really, I don't know.
Okay.
I would be guessing right now.
All right.
I wanted to say dark green leafy vegetables, but I would think, I don't know.
All right.
It also has sodium bicarbonate in it, which I think would be in there to help it flow.
Okay.
And then yellow prussate of soda.
Yeah. This kosher salt has that.
Yellow prussate of soda.
This is
which I'm assuming is for color.
This is anti-caking.
Oh, that's for anti-caking.
Anti-caking agent, yeah.
Yeah, so salt's not even pure salt. Oh, this isn't pure salt.
And neither is this.
All right. And this probably doesn't contain iodine. Yeah, so this is right here. This salt does not supply iodine,
which is a necessary
nutrient.
All right.
Yeah. But they've been around since 1848. I've got more questions now than when we got started.
I really hope Andrew from Appalachian State
will weigh in on this.
Ask the Geologist. I hope he weighs in.
I'm going to tag the Morton Salt Company this time, see if we can get...
Do it!
And I may tag the Pickle people again, too, because they use a lot of salt.
Yeah.
And then Alton Brown. Of course, we need to tag him.
Get him in there.
Since he got this whole argument started.
Right.
In an unrelated way.
That's right.
Yep.
He made the bold claim.
All right. I think this brings you to the end of this episode.
Well, we want to thank everyone for listening and watching us on YouTube. If this is your first time and you enjoyed the conversation or enjoyed the video, hit that like button or that subscribe button. Don't worry, we're not going to send you an email. We don't have your email address. You're not going to hear from us. If you do want to hear from us, just send us an email at tdsrpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a theory about salt and the origins of NaCl, shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
If you have ordered merchandise from us, you know that one, it's very expensive, and two, it takes a long time to get it.
Yeah.
we are looking at different ways of handling the merchandise. So hopefully that will resolve before too long. That Don't Sound Right is a production of TSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I am your co-host and sound engineer and resident salt expert, the other salt expert.
Here we go.
YouTube producer and co-host is Peter. Camille is your barista. Emily does your graphic design. Ella does your Instagram. Giorgio tests our merchandise, so he knows firsthand how long it takes to get merchandise. Brent is your international brand ambassador. And as always, listener number one is Scott. So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.